Hey everybody, welcome back to Dad Talk Today. This is Eric Carroll and we are live in Washington, D.C. at CPAC 2020. And today I have Kerry Picket from the Washington Examiner. How you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Doing good. All right. So Kerry, we talk a lot about like the family law courts and the battle that's going on inside of there right now. And we haven't seen many people, I know Candace has touched a little bit on the issue of fatherlessness. Is there anything that the Washington Examiner is doing to report on those issues?
Well, generally speaking, as far as the Examiner's coverage is concerned when it comes to family issues, that really has a lot to do with what's going on on Capitol Hill as far as, what exactly is going on with people who are dealing with law having to do with families. But right now, unfortunately, Capitol Hill has been inundated, whether it's been with impeachment, whether it's been with via coronavirus, whether it's been with a number of budget battles, and so as far as family law is concerned, that has been unfortunately been sort of put onto the back burner right now, which is such a unfortunate circumstance that we've been seeing right now.
Well, the coronavirus is definitely something we need to be watching out for. That just keeps getting worse and worse. We had Nan from the Epic Times that came and gave us a little report on that earlier. But with the family law industry, I think a lot of the things that we're talking about with crime and abortion and all, it kind of all stems in together. And if we can kind of like combat that, I do believe you'll see some of the symptoms that we're talking about here and other people are talking about start to kind of get better on their own. I think they all kind of stem from that.
Well, as far as abortion is concerned, if we are looking at that, there was a vote up on Capitol Hill in the upper chamber where you had the Republicans who did put a vote out there as far as partial abortion was concerned to try and get people on the record as to where they are on that. If we're talking about votes having to do with that particular issue, yes, they are talking about that. But as far as alimony, as far as custody, those issues once again have been put on the back burner.
Do you mind if I ask a question from off?
Absolutely, brother.
Okay, so I'm Jeff Morgan here, and I saw back, I think it was in August, you had an article that was published by Beverly Willett, and she talked about, in the Washington Examiner, she talked about the issue of the NoFault Divorce, and as she explains it, she talked about that NoFault Divorce, as a lawyer, she did not realize that her husband could file for divorce against her and win automatically there was nothing that she could ever do to stop the divorce. And I've seen a couple of articles like that in the Washington Examiner in the past where you actually address that issue, because NoFault Divorce was of course it was first signed by Governor Reagan, and at the end of his life he said it was one of the biggest political mistakes he'd ever made in his entire political career. So I know that you do cover it. Do you think that that's going to be a topic that you might cover again in the future? Because a lot of the stuff that Eric's talking about with family law, really, it's almost family lawlessness, because there's no way. We've seen what's happened with President Trump, and we've said he has no due process. But the situation when you go to a family court and you're being divorced against your will, it's almost preferable to be considered to be tried as a rapist or as a murderer, because number one, you have a presumption of innocence, and number two, you have due process, so you can win. In divorce courts, you can't win. All you can do is see destruction take place. And I think that's kind of a little bit more of the kernel of what Eric is talking about. So.
Okay, well, once again, our op-ed pages get some fantastic writers to give their points of view. In this case, Beverly Willett certainly, I would imagine, gave an interesting piece there. That being said, as far as that issue is concerned, NoFault Divorce, certainly, as far as that issue is concerned, it's unfortunate that we've seen the whole divorce industry not being taken as seriously as it should have been, because we've seen families being broken apart a little bit too easily, as opposed to having these relationships being looked at in a way, finding ways of, keeping them together and finding ways to make sure that what's better for your kids, what's better for the two adults in those relationships. And very often, yes, we end up finding that perhaps the husband in the relationship, what happens to him as far as alimony is concerned. What happens to the wife now, very often, she perhaps is the breadwinner in the family. Very often that's also turned on its head because now the husband can go, hey, you're the one making more money and I should be the one getting alimony from you. Back in the 1980s and in the 1970s, that wasn't the case.
Right.
So we're finding a lot new case law on this, and we're also finding custody issues are also changing as well because the father doesn't want to be the one who says, hey, why should I be the visitor every weekend? Why can't it be you? And so we're finding, once again, a lot new case law on this. Also, now that we're having more same-sex marriages happening, that's also turned it on its head as well because it's no longer male-female issues, it's also male-male, female-female, and now that's been turned on its head as well, so you're absolutely right. The whole issue has been changed completely.
So I thought it was very interesting what you said there, because every person has said the same thing. Divorce is too easy. Even if there are legitimate reasons for the divorce, every single person has said it's just become too easy. And I thought it was interesting what you said regarding, the same-sex marriages right now, because if you look at that opinion and the way that Justice Kennedy wrote it, you would almost have to say that the esteem that he gave to marriage shows that we should have more protection for marriage and that it should be harder to get divorced. Because he was using the argument that, this marriage is such a wonderful institution, it's this, it's that, everybody should have access to. I mean, all of a sudden you're looking at marriage and it's way up in the sky, it's this prized thing. But when it comes to divorce, it's like, it's something that we can just trample under our feet at will. And when you talk about the best interest of the children, what I've always said is that the best interest of the child is to be raised in an intact family with his or her natural mother and father in almost every instance, period. If you use that as the standard, then you would have to say, okay, so how are you defending the best interest of the children when you're traumatizing them by ripping them apart from one of their parents? But your perspective is very interesting, and I look forward to seeing some of these issues that you're talking about, discussing more fully. I just wish we had more reform to discuss them like that.
Well, I would imagine, more of it's going to be coming out, because, we're seeing all types of, marriages that are now out there here in the United States. And we're seeing new case law. And I think that people are also open to that discussion more than ever before.
Right. So if somebody wants to write an editorial or something, because you talked about your editorial pages, do you have certain people that do it, or can anybody write to that? Because I know there's a lot of people that would like to weigh in, and not just from a personal perspective or whatever, but from a more scholarly perspective, perhaps. How would they do something like that?
Well, certainly pitch to our op-ed editors, and they're the ones who will certainly take you up on any pitch you may have. I certainly, that's out of my.
That's out of your.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's
I wanted to see if we could use your name.
No, that's way above my page.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's the thing, Kerry. There is no possible way to talk on every issue that's out there. There's just so many issues going. But we feel like our issue is definitely justified in being brought into the discussion. And I think that's the importance of having booths like ours at CPEX, and we at least have a little bit of presence. But I want to thank you for your time and everything you do. Where can everybody find you?
You just find me over at the WashingtonExaminer.com. Also find me at Kerry Picket, KerryPicket, just like the fence.com.
All right, everybody, stick around. We'll be right back.